be looking at an elimination method where we have to do more work than multiplying by -1. Our goal is still to eliminate one of my variables. Looking at my first one right here, I have a 2 and a 1. Over here I have a 3 and a 4. The 3 and 4s, each one of these are already opposite signs of each other, but my least common multiple would be 12. Here my least common multiple is 2. So I'm going to convert my bottom equation to where I have a 2 in front of my x, and I'm going to make it a -2. So I'm going to multiply everything by -2. My top equation, he's not changing, so it's still going to be 2x minus 3y is equal to 4. The bottom equation, though, is being multiplied by a -2, so that becomes a -2x, a minus 8y, and a positive 18. I now add straight down, and adding straight down, my x variable now is eliminated because they add to 0. I have -3 and -8 gives me a -11y, and that's equal to 22. At this point I need to divide both sides by -11, and I find out that y is equal to -2. Now that I have my y value, I can go back and solve for my x value. I'm going to take the bottom equation, the x plus 4y is equal to -9, and use that to solve for my x value. I go back and substitute for my y value a -2. I multiply 4 times -2 is -8, still equal to -9. I now add 8 to both sides, and I find that x is equal to -1. So my final solution is -1, -2.
Yes, sir.
Example number 2. Here in example number 2, I look at my variables. I have a 4x and a 3x. Then I have a -5y and a positive 10y. I'm going to take and make my y variable eliminate because 5 goes into 10. So I can multiply my top equation by 2. My bottom equation is going to stay the same. The top equation now becomes 8x minus 10y is equal to 23, we're multiplying by 2, is equal to 46. The bottom equation stays the same, 3x plus 10y is equal to 31.
Now add in 10.
I now add straight down, and in adding straight down, I have 11x. My y variable has been eliminated because positive 10 and -10 add to 0. 46 and 31 gives me 77. I now divide by 11. X is equal to 7. I now go pick one of my other equations, and it does not matter which equation I choose. I could choose the top one or the bottom one. I'm going to use the bottom one simply because everything is positive. So 10y is equal to 31. I'm going to substitute a 7 in for my x. I now multiply, so that's 21 plus 10y is equal to 31. I subtract 21 from both sides. So I have 10y is equal to 20, not 20, 10.
So
I now divide both sides
1.
by 10, and we find that y is equal to 1. So my x is 7, y is 1. Moving on to example 3. In example 3, I have a 4x and a 3x. I have a negative 5 and a positive 2. I'm now going to eliminate my y variable again. To do so, my top equation is going to be multiplied by a positive 2. My bottom equation is going to need to be multiplied by a positive 5. Both equations have to be multiplied in this case in order to find our least common multiple. So 2 times 4 gives me 8x. A minus 10y is equal to 6. On the bottom, I have 15x plus 10y is equal to a negative 75. I now add straight down. 8 and 5 gives me 23x. My y variable
You said 8 and 5.
is negative 10. Yes. This adds to 0. A positive 6 and negative 75 is a negative 69. I now divide both sides by 23. X is equal to negative 3. I now choose one of my equations, top one or the bottom one, to work with. I'm going to use the 3x plus 2y is equal to negative 15. 3 times negative 3 plus 2y is equal to negative 15. Always make sure you're substituting for the correct variable when you go back to this step. So this is negative 9 plus 2y is equal to negative 15. Add 9 to both sides. Y is equal to negative 6. I now divide both sides by 2. And I find that y is equal to negative 3. So my final solution is negative 3, negative 3. Example number 4, our last example here. Here, I have 3a and 5a. Then I have 4b and 9b. I'm going to make my a's eliminate. In order to make my a's eliminate, I'm going to multiply the top one by 5 and the bottom one by 3. They need to be opposite sides, though, so I need to pick one of them to be a negative variety. I'm going to choose the top one here, the negative 5, and then make this one a positive 3. So negative 5 times 3a is a negative 15a. Negative 5 times 4b is a negative 20b equals negative 5 times 2 is a negative 10. On the bottom equation, 3 times 5 is a positive 15a. 3 times 9 is a positive 27b. And 3 times 1 is 3. I now add straight down. In doing so, these have been eliminated because they add to 0. Negative 20 and positive 27 gives me a 7b. Negative 10 and positive 3 gives me a negative 7. I divide both sides now by 7. And I find that b is equal to negative 1. Now I have to go back and choose one of my two original equations. I'm going to use the top one, the 3a plus 4b is equal to 2. So I have 3a plus 4 times negative 1 is equal to 2. 3a minus 4 equals 2. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I have 3a is equal to 6. I now divide both sides by 3. And I find that a equals 2. So A equals 2, B is equal to -1. Solving by elimination. You get to where the least common multiple of the numbers of our coefficients of one of our variables and their opposite signs. Add straight down. Solve for the variable that's left. Substitute back into one of the originals and then solve for the other variable.